The story of football begins long ago. It did not start in England, it started in many places. Ancient civilizations played games with a ball. These games involved kicking. One of the earliest known forms was Cuju. This game was played in China. Cuju dates back over 2,000 years, perhaps even to the Han Dynasty. Players kicked a leather ball filled with feathers or fur. The goal was to kick it through a small opening in a silk net. This net was fixed on bamboo canes. Cuju was used for military fitness. It was also a popular form of entertainment for royalty and common people. It shows an early human desire to control a ball with the feet. Across the world, in ancient Greece, people played a game called episkairos. This game was often lively and involved teamwork. Both men and women are thought to have participated, though sometimes separately. Episkairos used a smaller ball than Cuju. The objective seems to have been to throw or kick the ball over the opposing team's boundary line. It was a team sport requiring strategy and cooperation. There was a line in the middle of the pitch. Teams would try to force the other team back over their own line. This game was less about kicking through a specific target and more about territorial gain, a common theme in many ancient ball games. The Romans later adopted and adapted the Greek game episkiros. They called their version Harpastum. Harpastum was a very physical and energetic game. It was known for its roughness and intensity. Players would tackle, wrestle, and use their strength to gain possession of a small, hard ball. Roman soldiers played Harpastum to stay fit and to develop their fighting skills. The game was played on a rectangular field marked by lines. It was a popular pastime in Roman military camps and settlements across their vast empire. While different from modern football, Harpastum shared the competitive spirit and the use of feet and hands to move a ball towards a goal. These ancient games from China, Greece and Rome show a long history. Humans have always enjoyed playing with balls. They liked kicking them. They liked playing in teams. These early forms of football were simple, but they had the basic ideas of the game we know today. They involved skill, strategy, and physical effort. They were also important parts of their cultures. They provided entertainment, training, and a way for communities to come together. The echoes of Cuju, episkairos, and Harpastum can be seen in the global sport that football has become, connecting us to a playful past shared by diverse ancient peoples. During the Middle Ages in Europe, football was very different. It was not an organized sport like today. It was often called mob football. This name gives a good idea of what it was like. These games were wild and chaotic. They were played in towns and villages, especially in England. There were very few rules, if any at all. The main aim was to move a ball, often an inflated animal bladder, to a specific target. This target could be a church door, a village green, or even the opposing team's village square. The matches were often played between entire villages or parishes, involving huge numbers of people. The scale of mob football was immense. Sometimes hundreds or even thousands of people took part. The playing area was not a marked pitch. Instead, the game could spread over miles of countryside. It would go through fields, forests, rivers, and streets. This made it very unpredictable. Players could use almost any means necessary to move the ball forward. They could kick, carry, punch, or wrestle for the ball. Injuries were very common. Broken bones and other serious harm were frequent. The game was a test of strength and endurance rather than skill or tactics as we understand them in modern football. It was a raw and primal contest. Due to its violent and disruptive nature, authorities often tried to stop mob football. Kings and local lords issued decrees banning the game. They worried about the injuries. They also worried about the damage to property. Sometimes these games would lead to riots and public disorder. People were supposed to be practicing archery for military purposes. Instead, they were playing this unruly ball game. Despite these bans, mob football remained popular. It was a way for communities to express rivalries. It was also a form of traditional celebration, often played on religious holidays like Shrove Tuesday. The passion for the game was hard to suppress. Mob football was a far cry from the structured sport we watch today. It lacked the finesse and rules of its modern counterpart. However, it kept the idea of kicking a ball alive in Europe. It showed the strong desire for communal competitive games. The energy and passion seen in these medieval contests, though uncontrolled, were an early sign of the deep love for football that would later develop. These chaotic games were a strange, violent ancestor of the beautiful game. They represent a period where the raw spirit of competition was untamed, a stark contrast to the refined sport that would eventually emerge from England centuries later. The journey towards modern football began in 19th century England. The chaotic mob football needed to change. This change started in English public schools. Schools like Eton, Harrow and Rugby had their own versions of football. Each school played by different rules. This made it difficult for students from different schools to play against each other. There was a growing need for a common set of rules. This would allow for organised matches and fair competition. These schools educated the sons of the wealthy and influential. Their desire for standardised games was a key factor in football's evolution. It was a move from chaos to order. A very important step was the creation of the Cambridge Rules in 1848. Representatives from several public schools and Cambridge University met. They wanted to create a single set of rules that everyone could agree on. These rules were written down. They included things like the kick-off, throw-ins and a ban on carrying the ball if you hadn't caught it cleanly. The Cambridge Rules were not universally adopted immediately. However, they were a major influence on the future laws of the game. They showed a clear attempt to make football less violent. They aimed to make it more about skill and less about brute force. This was a crucial moment. The most significant event in the birth of modern football was the founding of the Football Association, FA. This happened in London on October 26, 1863. Representatives from several football clubs and schools met at the Freemasons Tavern. Their goal was to establish a single, unified code of rules for football. This meeting marked a clear split between association football, soccer, and rugby football. One of the key debates was about kicking an opponent in the shins and carrying the ball. The FA decided to ban these practices. This decision was fundamental in shaping the game we know today as football. The FA published its Laws of the Game in December 1863. These laws provided a framework for how football should be played. They defined the size of the pitch, the duration of the game, and the roles of players. It established rules for things like fouls, free kicks, and the offside rule, though these have evolved over time. The creation of the FA and its laws was a turning point. It transformed football from a collection of varied folk games into an organised, regulated sport. This provided the foundation for football to grow, not just in England, but eventually across the entire world. It was the true beginning of the modern era of the sport. Once modern football was established in England, it quickly began to spread. The British Empire was very large in the 19th and early 20th centuries. British sailors, traders, soldiers, engineers and teachers travelled all over the world. They took their games with them, including football. When they settled in new countries, they formed clubs and played matches. This introduced the sport to local populations. The simplicity of football was a big advantage. It did not need much equipment. All you needed was a ball and some space to play. This made it easy for people everywhere to start playing. Football first spread to continental Europe. British workers and students introduced the game in countries like Denmark, Switzerland, the Netherlands, and Germany. The first football club outside of Britain was often formed by British expatriates. For example, Lausanne Football and Cricket Club was founded in Switzerland in 1860. Soon, local people started to play and form their own clubs. The game's appeal was universal. It was exciting to play and watch. National football associations began to form in European countries towards the end of the 19th century, following the English model. This helped to organise the sport and promote its growth further. The game also travelled across the Atlantic to South America. British railway workers, merchants and sailors brought football to countries like Argentina, Brazil and Uruguay. In Buenos Aires, the first official match was played in 1867. In Brazil, Charles Miller, a British Brazilian, is often credited with bringing the first footballs and rule book in 1894. South America quickly fell in love with football. The sport became a passion. It adapted to local cultures, developing unique styles of play. Countries like Uruguay and Brazil would soon become dominant forces in international football, showing how deeply the sport had taken root. The global spread was not limited to Europe and South America. Football reached North America, Africa, Asia and Oceania. Everywhere the British had a presence, football tended to follow. Schools and universities played a role. So did military garrisons and trading posts. The sport crossed cultural and social barriers. It was adopted by people from all walks of life. This rapid expansion showed the game's inherent appeal. By the early 20th century, football was no longer just an English game. It was well on its way to becoming the world's most popular sport, a truly global phenomenon. Section 5. Nations Unite. Early international football and FIFA. As football spread globally, the next logical step was international competition. Teams from different countries wanted to test their skills against each other. The first official international football match took place on November 30th, 1872. It was played between Scotland and England. The match was held at Hamilton Crescent in Partick, Scotland. It ended in a 0-0 draw. This game was a historic moment. It laid the foundation for future international rivalries and tournaments. Thousands of spectators watched, showing the growing public interest in seeing nations compete on the football pitch. This match truly marked the beginning of international football history. The popularity of international matches grew. More countries began to play against each other. However, there was no single organization to oversee these games. Different countries sometimes had slightly different interpretations of the rules. There was a need for a global governing body. This body would standardize the laws of the game worldwide. It would also organize international tournaments. The idea gained support, especially in continental Europe. Football needed a united front to continue its development on a global scale. This was essential for fair play and consistent organization across borders. This need led to the founding of FIFA. FIFA stands for Fédération Internationale de Football Association. It was established in Paris, France on May 21st, 1904. 7 European nations were the founding members. These were France, Belgium, Denmark, the Netherlands, Spain, represented by Madrid Football Club, Sweden and Switzerland. The English FA initially hesitated to join, believing themselves to be the leading authority. However, they joined the following year. FIFA's main aims were to promote friendly relations between national associations and to manage international football according to unified rules. This was a critical step in globalizing the sport. In its early years, FIFA focused on creating a framework for international football. It worked to ensure that all member associations followed the same laws of the game. It also began to think about organizing a world championship. The Olympic Games football tournament served as an early unofficial world championship. However, FIFA dreamed of its own independent global tournament. The establishment of FIFA was a testament to football's growing international importance. It provided the structure needed for the sport to become a truly worldwide phenomenon, connecting nations through a shared passion for the game and setting the stage for future global competitions. Section 6. The pinnacle of play World Cups and club glory. The ultimate expression of international football is the FIFA World Cup. FIFA's dream of a global tournament became a reality in 1930. The first World Cup was hosted and won by Uruguay. 13 nations participated in this inaugural event. The World Cup quickly grew in prestige and popularity. It is now held every 4 years. It brings together the best national teams from around the world. The tournament has created countless iconic moments and heroes. Legends like Pelé from Brazil, Diego Maradona from Argentina, and Franz Beckenbauer from Germany became household names through their World Cup performances. Brazil holds the record with 5 World Cup titles, a testament to their enduring footballing excellence. The World Cup has evolved into the most widely viewed sporting event on the planet. Billions of people tune in to watch the drama unfold. It ignites national pride and passion. Winning the World Cup is considered the highest achievement in football. The tournament has seen many memorable finals and upsets. It has showcased different styles of play from various continents. For example, the total football of the Netherlands in the 1970s or the Italian Catenaccio defensive system. The World Cup is more than just a competition. It's a global festival of football, uniting fans and nations in a shared celebration of the sport. Alongside international football, club competitions have also reached incredible heights. The most prestigious club tournament is the UEFA Champions League. It was originally known as the European Cup, first held in 1955. It brings together the top clubs from leagues across Europe. Winning the Champions League is a mark of elite status for any club. Teams like Real Madrid, AC Milan, Bayern Munich, Liverpool, and Barcelona have rich histories in the competition. The final is one of the most watched annual sporting events worldwide. It showcases world-class players and high-quality football. These major tournaments, both international and club-based, are the pinnacle of the sport. They attract huge audiences and generate massive commercial interest. They provide a stage for the world's best players to demonstrate their talents. Club football, particularly in top European leagues like the English Premier League, Spain's La Liga and Italy's Serie A, is followed passionately by fans globally. These competitions create intense rivalries and loyal followings. The combination of strong national team traditions and powerful, globally recognized clubs ensures football remains the king of sports, captivating hearts and minds everywhere. Section 7, Professionalism, Pennies and Passion, the Commercial Rise. The journey of football also includes a significant shift from amateurism to professionalism. In the early days, players were amateurs. They played for the love of the game, not for money. However, as football grew more popular and competitive, some clubs began to secretly pay their best players. This was to attract and retain talent. This practice, known as shamateurism, caused much debate. The Football Association in England officially legalised professionalism in 1885. This was a landmark decision. It acknowledged that players deserved to be compensated for their skills and time. It paved the way for football to become a career for talented individuals. The acceptance of professionalism changed the landscape of football. Clubs could now openly recruit and pay players. This led to the development of professional leagues. The Football League in England, founded in 1888, was the first of its kind. It provided regular, organised competition for professional clubs. This structure helped to increase the quality of play. It also made football a more attractive spectacle for fans. Working-class communities, in particular, embraced football. It became a central part of their social lives. Going to a match on a Saturday afternoon became a widespread tradition, building strong local identities around clubs. As football became a major spectator sport, its commercial potential started to emerge. Clubs began to earn revenue from ticket sales. Early forms of sponsorship and merchandising also appeared. The FA Cup final, for instance, drew large crowds and generated significant income even in the early 20th century. The popularity of star players also grew. They became local heroes. This early commercialization was modest compared to today. However, it laid the groundwork for the massive industry that football would eventually become. The passion of the fans was the driving force behind this initial economic growth, fueling the sport's expansion. The late 20th and early 21st centuries witnessed an explosion in football's commercialization. The arrival of satellite television and global broadcasting deals transformed the sport. Television rights became a huge source of income for leagues and clubs. Sponsorship deals, kit manufacturing contracts, and international marketing campaigns turned top football clubs into global brands. Star players became multimillionaires and international celebrities. This commercial boom has brought immense wealth into the game. It has funded state-of-the-art stadiums and training facilities. It has also raised questions about the soul of the game and its accessibility to ordinary fans. Section 8, Modern Pitches, Technology and Inclusivity. Recent decades have seen significant changes in how football is played and managed. Technology has become an important part of the modern game. One major introduction was goal line technology, or GLT. For years, disputed goals caused controversy. Was the ball fully over the line or not? GLT uses cameras and sensors to accurately determine if a goal has been scored. It sends a signal to the referee within a second. FIFA officially approved GLT in 2012. It was first used at the FIFA Club World Cup that year. It has since been implemented in major leagues and tournaments, reducing arguments and ensuring fairer outcomes for crucial decisions. Another significant technological development is the Video Assistant Referee, or VAR. VAR was introduced to help referees make correct decisions on game-changing incidents. These include goals, penalty decisions, direct red card incidents, and cases of mistaken identity. The VR team, located in a central room, reviews video footage of incidents. They can then advise the on-field referee. VR has been controversial. Some fans feel it disrupts the flow of the game. Others believe it leads to fairer results. its implementation is still being refined. However, VAR represents a major shift towards using technology to support officiating in football. Alongside technological advancements, there has been a fantastic rise in women's football. For many years, women's football was marginalized. In some countries, women were even banned from playing organized football for periods. However, in recent times, the women's game has experienced tremendous growth. Participation levels have soared globally. Professional leagues for women are becoming stronger and more visible. The FIFA Women's World Cup, first held in 1991, is now a major international sporting event. It attracts large crowds and television audiences, showcasing the incredible skill and passion of female players. The growth of women's football is a vital step towards greater inclusivity in the sport. National federations and clubs are investing more in women's teams. Media coverage is increasing. Star players in the women's game are becoming role models for young girls around the world. There is still work to be done to achieve full equality in terms of pay, resources, and recognition. However, the progress made is undeniable. Women's football is now an integral and exciting part of the global football family. It is enriching the sport and expanding its appeal to an even wider audience, ensuring football is truly a game for everyone. Section 9, Beyond the Goalposts, Football's Societal Echo and Legacy. Football's impact extends far beyond the 90 minutes of a match. It plays a significant role in shaping national pride and identity. When a national team performs well in a major tournament, it can unite an entire country. People from all backgrounds come together to celebrate. Victories can create a sense of collective joy and belonging. The colors of the national flag are worn with pride. Streets are filled with cheering fans. This power to evoke strong emotions and foster a shared identity is one of football's most remarkable characteristics. It can define how a nation sees itself and is seen by the world. The sport has also been used as a tool for diplomacy. Sometimes football matches have helped to ease political tensions between countries. This is often called football diplomacy. For example, matches between nations with strained relations can open channels for communication. They can create moments of shared humanity. While football cannot solve deep-rooted political problems, it can provide a platform for peaceful interaction. It can help to break down barriers and build bridges. The universal language of sport can sometimes succeed where traditional diplomacy struggles, offering a neutral ground for connection. Players and clubs are increasingly aware of their social responsibility. Many use their high profiles and resources to support charitable causes. They engage in activism on important social issues. Campaigns against racism, discrimination, and poverty are common in football. Players often visit hospitals, support educational programs, and donate to disaster relief efforts. This use of football's platform for positive social change is a growing trend. It shows that the sport can be a force for good. It can inspire people and contribute to making society better, leveraging its immense popularity for noble causes. In summary, football's journey from ancient kicks to global goals is epic. It has evolved from simple folk games into the world's most popular sport. Its legacy is seen in the passion of billions of fans. It is also seen in the incredible success of certain nations and clubs. Countries like Brazil, Germany, and Italy have each won the FIFA World Cup multiple times, etching their names in history. Clubs such as Real Madrid, AC Milan, Liverpool, and Bayern Munich have dominated European competitions, building global fan bases. This legacy of competition and excellence, combined with its profound social impact, ensures football will continue to captivate and unite people for generations to come.